as an all-conquering Assyrian king riding roughshod over his foes. It was the old equation of Iraqi history, the idea that only a brutal ruler could hold the land together, stop it being plundered by its neighbors, a ruler who dealt in terror and savage and merciless punishment. There had been many such rulers in Iraq's past. Like the king who had himself represented on his public monuments, serenaded in a pleasure garden, while his enemy's severed head hung in a tree. The final step of this new order was to restore the most potent symbol of that ancient past, Babylon itself. Babylon the Great, as the Book of Revelation calls it, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Even during the height of the war with Iran, this colossal project went ahead, rearing up palace walls with armies of guest workers from Egypt and Sudan, where Jewish captives had labored on the original. And in the rebuilt palace, every 50th brick was stamped in Arabic, restored in the era of Saddam. Just as in 600 BC, Nebuchadnezzar had advertised his own Babylonian revival for posterity. The message to the world from the late 20th century rulers of Iraq was simple. Mesopotamia, they said, had emerged once again from the darkness to become a bright light of civilization. But civilization consists not in walls of brick and stone, but in the ideals created within them, in the humane goals of life pursued by the predecessors who attempted to moderate naked power, as the Sumerians said, to cause justice to prevail in the land, that the strong may not oppress the weak. On the eve of the Gulf War of 1991, I returned to the marshes of southern Iraq. They'd been ravaged and then drained in the aftermath of the war with Iran. The water level had sunk, the waving green reed beds were now shriveled and brown. Once upon a time, said an ancient poet, Sumer, the great land of divine laws, had all that was needed for life. You, Sumer, set the ideals of civilization upon humankind. Lofty ideals, robed in enduring light. Once upon a time, when there was no fear, no terror. In 1991, a new war was fought in this desert where the first civilization arose, close to the ruins of the first city, Uruk. Another war fought over the natural resources of the earth on which we all depend. Another war supposedly for civilization against barbarism. It is as if history has come not to its end, but back to its starting point.
Viewed from across the plain today, Uruk, the first city of the world, the city of Genesis, seems like a great source of energy whose power is exhausted. The wheel of history has turned full circle here, back to the conditions which held in the beginning, before the Sumerians patiently labored to turn this monochrome landscape into emerald green fields stretching as far as the eye can see. Before they sailed their gaily festooned boats up the old track of the Euphrates from Nippur to rejoice in the spring festivals of the great goddess. As they saw it themselves, this was a heroic age, the age of Gilgamesh and the first city builders. And we city dwellers of the late 20th century in London and New York, Paris and Tokyo can take a vicarious pride in their achievement. But it is this desert landscape of Uruk which is the spectre facing the children of the 21st century.